Welcome to Seattle Public Utilities Ask Evelyn Live, where we answer your questions about recycling, compost, garbage, and other trashy topics. I'm your host, Becca Fong. For the month of February, we're showing things all a little bit of love. And this week, we're talking about the stuff that you've got in your life. It is time to love it or list it. Because at last, we are going to be clearing out all of the items that you no longer need. Because the time has come along. My cluttered days are over, and it is time to say so long to all of that extra stuff in your. All right, we're getting Pat joining us this week. Hi, Pat.
Nice intro. I like it. The whole love February theme. We're having a great time with this, aren't we? Love
We
it.
are. It's
Love it
pretty
or
fun.
list it. I like it.
Love it or list it. I feel like we have like a reality show coming up here, right?
Yeah,
Love it or list
right.
it.
Right.
It's going to be a good one. And to kick us off, we've got a really good question that came into us from a customer this week, specifically about all of those other things that are in your life that are super useful, but maybe it's time to let those things go.
That's right. And our question this week comes to us from Joe. Joe says, "Hi, Evelyn. I'm clearing out my dad's house, and he's downsizing. He has an entire household of items, furniture, dishes, tools, books, and they're all still in good shape.
Okay.
But I have to figure out what to do with them. I know that Goodwill is overwhelmed and not taking furniture right now. So what are some options to get these things to people who can use them? Thanks, Joe." Great question, Joe. Quick answer, Becca.
So the quick answer is that there are a lot of really great options online to list those items. I feel for you,
Yeah.
Joe, when you're at the point in your life where you're clearing out an entire household worth of stuff that's still in good shape, you really want to get it to people that can use it right away. So there's a ton of great platforms online that you can use. We're going to get into some details, but really quickly, there's Buy Nothing groups, there's Facebook Marketplace for free, there's Craigslist, there's FreeCycle. And then there's also an OfferUp, and there's also a couple of other places that you can donate things. That's not Goodwill, but we'll get a little more into that.
And they can't, Goodwill can't be the one-stop shop for all of our discards, right?
Right.
It's still got useful life left in it, so we want us to have people think about it as a thrift or reuse item, certainly. But, the days of being able to put everything you don't want into one truckload and drop it at Goodwill, there was a lot of clearing out of closets and garages and spaces during the pandemic, during the kind of the lockdown period especially. So they kind of got overwhelmed with all the bulky stuff. So they had to say, no more on the furniture, thank you, but no. And so the furniture options. So let's talk more about that.
Sure, absolutely.
We've always said this, though, person-to-person connection is the highest and best reuse. When you can post a photo or share a description of an item and you have someone who responds to you and says, I want that item, that's golden. Because even when you give something to Goodwill, even if you think it's good, they have to assess it, it has to go through their process, they have to merchandise it and put it on the shelf and then hope that somebody actually comes to the store who wants it. So, you doing the work of like owning your stuff, kind of cradle to cradle, like make sure it's yours and now you can just get it to someone else is the best model. And there's a lot of platforms for that.
And the bonus of that too is that when you're doing that person-to-person sharing is that, with Joe, who's cleaning out his dad's place, he's got a lot going on right now, right? The really other great thing is that people will often come and pick those things up at your house.
Absolutely.
So you don't need to drive it to Goodwill and incur all that handling. Even if things are maybe not in great usable condition or there's like a tear or a stain, as long as you disclose that, it has been truly amazing how many things that you're like, well, maybe this chair needs to be repaired. As long as you disclose it, a lot of times people are like, oh, I can fix that, or I'm going to reupholster that. And it's just a really good way to save some of those things that you also may have decided you might send to the landfill. It's amazing, right?
Yeah,
it's
totally I think it is.
What people will take.
I think that's the spirit, the creed, the way that all reuse shares and you should be the full disclosure, transparent kind of posting. You really want to say, okay, we got a cat. Okay, just letting you know. There's going to be some scratch marks on the side of this couch. You don't have to take close-up photos of every single angle, but if you just put a couple words in there, just so the expectations are met appropriately. Just making sure that we all, properly disclose any condition, or call it a project,
Right.
coffee table. It's a project coffee table. It's got some scratches on it. One could refinish it. I'm not going to do that. I'm posting it for free or for $10 or whatever you want to do. But that's part of the whole, to be in the best like frame of mind and to have good karma come back your way on the reuse world is full disclosure and good descriptions.
Oh, absolutely. And I have a really quick like person story. We had this beautiful little dresser that was made by my husband's grandmother's father for her.
Wow.
And we just didn't have a space for it. It's beautiful and it was just really adorable. And so I posted it. And as it turned out, a family that we had gone to preschool, my kids had gone to preschool with, messaged me right back and was like, oh, we would love to refinish this. This would be perfect for our little girl. And I hadn't connected with them in a while. And it was just so lovely because they knew the story. They could continue that. They were like, we were talking to our daughter about it and she's really stoked. And it was just like that really great connection. I reconnected with them. They're going to kind of keep that story with that piece. It's just really, really lovely. And I mean, my options were like, do I throw it away? Like, what do I do with it? We really couldn't use it anymore. And we tried to give it away to everybody we could think of. And, I think I had it on Facebook.
I think it's lovely. That's,
great.
In the February theme of love, I think that's a lovely story. I think the provenance, the story behind the item, if there's any, family history or whatever that you can convey, it doesn't hurt. It helps, I see that happen at, reuse, Ballard Reuse and Earthwise and Second Use. When they say this, these lockers came from, Whitman School or whatever.
Oh, totally.
It's just like I went to Whitman School. I want those lockers, that could have been my locker when I was in 7th grade or whatever. So that kind of like the provenance, like the story of the history is really, I think, helpful. Some folks aren't up for that at all, but other folks are. So you might as well add it in if you have it.
You were talking to me about 2 other options other than Goodwill, some other organizations that
for
furniture.
Yeah, furniture is a tough one. So like you said, it's, the Craigslist or other platforms like OfferUp or FreeCycle. Buy Nothing is another app-based group. Used to be Facebook. It's actually both Facebook housed and separately. But anyway, the organizations that help set up households for families who are transitioning into supported housing, basically, is Humble Design and Habitat for Humanity. Habitat for Humanity, a lot of people know of them. They build homes. They totally furnish homes. They support, job training and such. But Humble Design is an organization here in Seattle. It's actually in other cities as well, but it's down south of Seattle. I think it's in Kent. And they collect houseware goods and furniture, and they help outfit homes that are basically set up for families in transition that are being supported. And, so they do everything. They get, the lamps and the bookshelf and the books and all the stuff, the toys for the kids and everything. So it's a neat organization. I recommend looking at. They'll be in the show notes. The links to these sites will be in our show notes. So we've donated a couple things there, and we have coworkers who are thinking of volunteering there and such. So it's a great organization.
Absolutely. And I think, Joe, for the other things that you have, some housewares, tools, I would check in with your local lending libraries. They are always looking to add to their catalog, which is really great because it not only goes to one family, it can go to many households, which would be fantastic. So I really encourage you. You've got a lot on your plate. If you're breaking down your dad's place, there's a lot going on there. So as much as you can reach out to your community and kind of share the wealth, I think that you'll really end up in a really good place. Plus, you're not going to have to drive around. You're going to save a lot of stuff from the landfill.
Right.
And it's just a really, really great way to go to really show that love and create that person-to-person connection. So we'll put all of those links to some of these different resources in our show notes, just so you have them at the ready, because you do got a lot going on. But keep that stuff kind of circulating, right? That
I think
sharing economy.
Trying out a couple of the platforms we mentioned, whether it's OfferUp or FreeCycle or Craigslist or whatever. There's so many of them right now available. Just do a search on that, find one you like, and you're comfortable with, and post some things and see how it goes. I recommend that.
Totally. I do have one quick show and tell because it's often sometimes smaller things. So like everybody, I bake a lot. I mean, it's the pandemic. I got to eat something. I needed a rolling pin. And so I went on and someone's like, hey, I got an extra. I'll leave it out for you on my porch. And so I ended up with this beautiful rolling pin. And then another great thing, I needed a smaller wok. So, I was looking around and they're like, same thing. Someone's like, I got an extra wok. You'll need to reseason it. Totally free.
Yes.
It was
Wow.
fantastic.
That's a
Yeah.
good get right there. I'm jealous.
I know. It was awesome. It was
Sweet.
super great. And so, thinking about, Joe, all of those things that you have in your house, you never know, someone like me is like, oh man, I really need that thing. And it prevented me from having to like drive, to another location, spend money on that. It was really great. It was awesome. I definitely was feeling the love from all that sharing. So
I highly recommend the free button on Craigslist. I mean, we talk about a lot of platforms, a lot of options out there for folks, but it to me is like, it's a constant churn of good stuff.
I know. And I know, I mean, Pat and I totally, we're loving stuff, we're listing stuff, we're getting stuff, it just kind of keeps it all going, which is really awesome. So we encourage you guys to check that stuff out. All right, folks. Well, we are we're going to link another really good article for you guys to check out as well. Yeah. So Pat, do you want to just give a really
I should. So there's a great article by Green Biz. It's an online magazine. And she talks about the idea that households have a lot of materials. And, the average household in North America has 300,000 items in it, which is just a lot of stuff, Wow. So when you get into that kind of space, that thinking of like, downsizing is one direction some people are going, but it's just carrying capacity. It's like, okay, I got enough, Yeah. So start thinking about if you want to, do a project, you need tools, join your local tool library. If you want to, like we say, you have a sewing project or something, go on to Craigslist, find one that's, affordable, you can use it and then repost it and get rid of it because you won't need it after the project. So project-based decisions, borrowing from neighbors, sharing with, family and friends, different sports equipment or outdoor equipment, all those things. Those things are the extras in our life. There's what we have like in our bedroom and our kitchen we use all the time, in our living room and such. But then there's all the other stuff in that storage room or in the garage. It's like, we don't all need the same kind of things. And so really kind of challenging yourself and looking at that, because I think 300,000 or more items per household is just a lot. So we gotta back that up a bit,
Wow. That is a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
And, it's just, you got to manage all that too. So
there's a lot of commentary around this, the climate change, it all comes down to, consumption and all the inputs and energy and materials, resources, mining and whatnot. So there's a lot to consider when we each just want to have that one more item that's going to make our life more, pleasure and joyful and such, which is important. It's good, but just with a balanced approach to that,
Absolutely. All right, Joe, thank you so much for your question. We hope we gave you some good resources that'll help you out. Good luck. That is a large task you have ahead of you. But again, thank you for sending us your question. And quick reminder, this show is run on your questions. So you can send them to us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or you can send us an email at askevelyn@seattle.gov. And with that, that's a wrap for this week. And next week, we will be back Wednesday, 1:30. I will be out next week. So you guys have the special treat of Pat and Gemini.
We'll do our best. I don't know. Becca, we're going to miss you, Becca, but we'll do our best.
I'll miss you guys too. You guys are going to kill it though.
Yeah.
So, all right, folks. Well, thank you guys so much. And with that, I'm Becca Fong. Remember, life's simpler with less stuff.
And I'm Pat Kaufman. Remember to recycle right. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.